Hey everybody, in this video we are going to be creating a manually personalized design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of recap on some of what the columns mean when you're creating a campaign, and just so there's really just one main difference that you want to look for when you're creating a manually personalized design. So, and then we'll kind of go back through the manually personalized product so we can kind of tie it all together. Right now I'm in my campaigns. And really, with any campaign, you can really change them. Once you have a couple campaigns, the easiest thing to do is just to duplicate the campaign, and make sure you're duplicating this part here, not duplicating over to a funnel campaign, which we'll explain a little bit more advanced, but we'll explain that in a later video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate one of these campaigns. Let's just do this one. So I'm going to duplicate. And as that's duplicating, what we're going to recap with a manually personalized design is a design with multiple forms of personalization. And just like in the manually personalized product video, we use the cool grandma design, and where that is going to, you're going to have to enter in the personalization that they leave, and you're going to have to do that on the PSD, and then what you'll do is you'll have that CSV will be sent to you, so you can do that. Create the file and then upload it into your store and then your media gallery, and then send it off to your supplier. So first, let's just go ahead and create the design. So this one we're going to do cool grandma. So remember, you always want to make sure you change your title and change your URL. And a little trick here is if you just delete this, if you're going to leave the title the same as your permalink here, you can just delete it and hit OK. And we'll automatically pull from this field up here. So we have cool grandma in your URL. And then let's go ahead and change out the products. And we're going to do the cool grandma black tea, and we'll do the cool grandma mug. Okay, so we added those products. Those are your first steps. Now I know I've kind of gone over the columns before, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pull this up in another store, this exact campaign, and we're just going to go ahead and populate some of these columns here so we can just do a little refresher. And I have cool grandma pulled up here. Remember, the right hand column, this is going to be your main information right underneath your title. So I'm not going to spend too much time, but I do want to show you just again what these columns are. And I'm just going to go ahead and enter that in there. Okay, so again, you can come in here and you can make these headings. You can these are all seen bolded, so I'm just going to take off the bolding. It must have just transferred over. And take this off. Okay. So the main difference here, and it's still bolded, so we'll just leave it. Again, you're telling them, very important on your personalization. Remember, on your products, you entered in the fields. They're going to be entering in whatever the personalization is. On this particular design, it's the grandma nickname and then the grandkids' names. So what I'll do is I'm going to pull up these designs again so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And here's the cool grandma mug, and we had the cool grandma shirt down here. So let's go ahead and let's just open up one of these. So if you remember back in our manual personalized product video, when you're doing these, you have to have this field selected, manually personalized, and then what that's going to do is that's going to add to these form fields, and then you're going to put in what you want those placeholders to say. So the name of it is grandma nickname. The actual placeholder, meaning on the campaign, what it will say in the field to enter this in is grandma nickname. And so just go ahead and put in whether it's a date, names, whatever you're doing for personalization. And again, you have a text box. If you're doing multiple names, it's good to have a text area. Sometimes in this particular design, some grandmas have 19, 20 grandkids, so you want to make sure they have enough room. Okay, and then let them know it's required. So these are what's going to show up on your campaign. So it's very important to have these set. Okay, so if we go back to our campaign, we want to let them know step 1, personalization. Enter your grandma nickname and then your grandkids' names. We will use the information to custom design your shirt. So kind of let them know that they're not going to see a live preview, but you are going to take their information that they enter in. I think it's always great to put an important message or some type of reminder. Please double check your spelling. The last thing you want to do is is create a design and have a shirt paid for and shipped, and maybe they just misspell the name and you just entered it in as it was, then that's going to be up to you how you want to handle that. But you want to make sure that that they're really double checking. And if you ever have a question about it, I always say just reach out to the customer just to double check. It just, a phone call can easily save everyone a little bit of just frustration. So we want to make sure. Now, very important. This is one of the short codes that we've talked about down here before. And usually in the campaigns, you're using, for the most part, this percent form and then this percent manual form percent. Okay. Now the percent form, remember, this is for that auto personalized. So if they're doing a personalization with just one or two forms, you're going to be using this short code. But when you're using a manual personalized, meaning there's more than one, we want to make sure you have to have this short code in here somewhere in this column. And what this does is this pulls it pulls these fields that you've created in your manually personalized product field and allows them to go inside of the campaign. Okay, so that's really the main difference between this and a regular campaign or a personalized campaign, is that you have to have this different short code. So if you do duplicate a personalized campaign, make sure you switch these out or those form fields will not show up. Okay, so let's just go through and switch this back over here. Let's go ahead and fill out some of these other columns here. So this is in the right hand column 3, and I'm just going to kind of delete these. So I want you to kind of see how a campaign looks. We have the timer in on one of those, and I know we kind of went over the short codes all here, the timers, product description, all those sort of things, and where they pull from. Okay, and then the right hand column 4, this is PayPal, Visa, MasterCard. This is just a little graphic. You can put whatever you'd like in this right-hand column 4. We usually have some type of guaranteed safe and secure checkout. It's really up to you. You can find whatever graphic you would like. This is just something that we use for templates and for training purposes, but it's definitely something that you can customize yourself. And the left-hand column I like to have, that's going to be on your desktop. It's going to be right underneath the products. So I like to give them just a little blurb about here. You click on the different thumbnails to select your product, and then this pulls this product description. This is a short code that's beneath here. This percent product description percent is what pulls from your product description under your products. Okay, so this is pulling this information there. Okay, so we're going to go back. And again, we talked about the footers. You're going to have to set up the footers and put whatever you would like in there. You can look at these videos and kind of get an idea. So let's make sure that's at the footer single column, footer left-hand side. So we'll go over here. And then you can put I know we have this made in the USA. You can do that. Safe and secure checkout. This is the footer right hand. This is just another graphic. And again, these are all things that you can customize yourself. It's good to have in your footer, you want to have your privacy policy and your terms of service page. If you have a 1-800 number, it's very good to have these linked over, especially if you're running Facebook ads. They want to see that these are on the page that they're landing on. So just whenever you create those pages, you'll just simply link, just go ahead and hyperlink to those pages. Okay. And then the bottom full width box, again, and you can put in here the testimonials, short codes, or if you want to put other collections, and we've talked about that in the collections video, you can put that in that bottom full width box, and we'll just kind of put it in there so I can show you guys what it looks like. And a couple of trains of thought on that. Obviously, you want to maybe have something that's similar to the product you're selling. So if you're marketing to grandmas, maybe have other products that are similar to the one that they're looking at. Okay, so that's really it for the columns. Again, the campaign content is rarely used. You can on there. Okay. So the other thing you want to make sure that you have checked for your manually personalized is down here in the cart settings. It's just good to have this enable manually personalized custom fields. Okay. So just have that checked. That is the main difference. So let's go ahead and just publish this so we can see how it looks. And we'll right click on here and just open this up in a new tab. Okay, so here's how your campaign should look, because you'll have everything else set up in here. But again, you'll have your t-shirts here. We put everything in the right-hand column, kind of what I just showed you. And again, you can see now that you have the grandma nickname and you have the grandkids' names because you've enabled those fields to be pulled from your product, and everything is good to go. So now they can come in here, and again, remember, this is not going to show an actual live preview, but at least if they come in here, they can you can come here and type in, and what will happen is this will be pulled into your CSV, and you'll be able to go in there and change the CSV. Okay, so that's how a manually personalized campaign works. So now your question is, okay, so what happens after I get an order, and how do I go back and do that? So we talked about this a little bit in the products video, but we can recap on this. And what you're going to do is, remember, on your products level, for your suppliers, you're going to be having this emailed to your supplier. So you won't be sending it to PrintTech or whatever other supplier you may be using. You want this emailed to yourself. So that way, when the CSV comes, it comes to your email address, and then you can go ahead and create the file. Okay, so I'm going to pull up that file. I'm going to show you how we do that. I'm actually not going to create another video. I'm just going to go ahead and do it in this video. So I'm going to pull that up in Photoshop, and then we'll continue. Okay, so what happens now is that you will get a CSV sent to your email address. Okay, and once you open that up from your email address, it will look like this. And so it's basically all of the information that was entered: their invoice number, if you have a SKU, the name, their payer email, the address, where it's going to, all that good stuff. And the main thing here is that it's going to have a file URL. Now this file URL is actually pulling, from whatever is in this PrintTech art image. So normally on just a regular design or a personalized design, you have your art 2800 by 3200 art image here, and that's where that URL is pulled, and that's what they use to print your design. So now you know that when you're doing a manually personalized design, you're just putting anything in here because you know you have to go back in there and actually create the design. And so what you're going to do is you're going to replace that file URL. So what you'll do is you're going to get your order, and it's going to have all the information from what they entered. It's going to be on there. It's going to have, and this is just a test URL, but you'll have all the information in one of these fields that they've entered. Okay. So once you have all that information, you're going to come in here, and you'll come in here and actually take the information that was entered. And I said, I think it will be in these manually personalized fields. So this is just a test CSV, so I don't actually have that, but it will have whatever they've entered with commas and everything. So you have to really be careful and take your time making sure that you're getting the right information so you can create your design. Okay, so let's say their grandma nickname was Mimi, and they had 4 kids' names in there. So you would pull up your PSD. Now that you have this, okay, so you would come in here and just go ahead and enter the information that they've entered. So let's just say it was Mimi. And make sure you have your fonts, the same fonts that you're displaying. And then you would come in here, and let's just say we'll just make up some names. Make sure you're doing it exactly kind of how the design looks on your campaign. You want to make sure that they're getting the product that you're actually advertising. So if it's all caps, use all caps. If it's double space between, use double space. Okay, so you double check your work. You know that this is the correct file now. So what you're going to do is just go ahead and save this 2800 by 3200, and you can see it has a transparent background. The checkered background means it's transparent. That's what they need. And so you're going to go ahead and save this now as a PNG. And what I like to do is I like to save these files with the customer's last name. So you can say cool grandma. Oops, let's just say I'll use my last name. So that way it's easy to find, and if you're looking for a file, you can kind of search for it that way. So what you're going to do is save that as a PNG. Okay. What you're going to do then is go back over to your media gallery. So that file has to live somewhere. So you want to give that file a URL name. So we're just going to add a new file here, and go ahead and find that file. There it is. So it's going to go ahead and upload that. Okay, so once it's done uploading, what you want to do is go ahead and edit that. And you're going to see that over here on the right hand side, this now has its own file URL. Okay, it has, it has your website / WP content / whatever. So this is what you're going to go ahead and copy that. And if you were to just open this up and open up a new tab and put that in here, it's basically just a file. It's just a file, the same exact file, but it's just a URL, so they can actually pull that. Okay. So what you would do then is you would go back over here. You would go to your file URL and you would replace the one that's in there with the correct artwork. Okay. Then you would go ahead and save this again, and then you would simply just email this CSV to Printech or to whatever supplier that you're using. Okay. So if it was Printech, it would be customer service at printexinc.com, blah, blah, blah. So if you're sending this to another supplier, you just have to figure out what they're using, whatever email. And so now they can come in here and they can create your design, because now they have the actual file URL and they can make your really cool design. And then there's what it looks like. So that's how you do a manually personalized design, a campaign. And that's how you grab your file URL that you've created off of your PSD and send it off to your supplier. Manually personalized designs definitely take a little bit more work. This particular design is sold thousands and thousands of units. So, if you find a really good design that you're using and you're getting a lot of orders, it may be worth having a VA or someone to do this for you, but you just have to make sure that they're double checking their work, because with manually personalized designs, you can get into a little bit of trouble with misspellings and those sort of things. And so it take a little bit more attention to detail. Okay, and talk to you guys in the next video.